Hey guys, it's Carolina here from KarolinasKrafts and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be using up the rest of these scraps from the Our Baby collection by Echo Park. I previously made two other projects with it, which I'll link down below, but today we are going to be making some cards using the scraps. So let's get started. So just showing you guys what I'm starting off with, and I'm also going to be pulling some stickers from the sticker book because I think they might match this collection, since this collection, the sticker sheet, or the rest of the cut aparts, I don't have any more sentiments left, so I'm definitely going to be pulling from that sticker book. So first I got to make my card bases. I need to score an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper at 4 1/4 on the 8.5 inch side. And then I need to cut this at 5 1/2. Now do as I say, don't do as I'm showing you, because I accidentally cut mine at 5. But you definitely want it to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I was like, okay, maybe the one card base will work out just fine for this video. So here I am separating my scraps from pattern paper and the solids. I do have quite a bit of solids, but I thought I could use them as a background on the front cover, and then also as a background on the inside, because obviously it's kind of hard to write on black paper, and since my card base is black, I definitely want to have some kind of a layer on the inside for like a writing space. So I'm deciding to use this minty color side, and I really want to use this rainbow paper. But in between doing all that, I was like, you know what, I should just make another card base, because what if I want to make two cards? Now this one, I scored wrong. I scored that one at 4 1/8. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's this sick brain that I've been having, because I just can't think since I've been sick. So I grabbed another sheet of 110-pound cardstock, and I cut it again, or scored it again at 4 1/4 on the 8.5 inch side, and then cut at 5 1/2. So I actually ended up with 3 card bases, but we're only going to be making 2 in this video, because that's really all I have enough scraps for, as you guys will see as I use up most of these scraps. So I'm trying to cut all these solid papers down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And after I did 2 of those, or maybe I did 3, I can't remember. But after I did a few of those, I realized I can't make a 4th one. So the 4th one is actually going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 is what I was able to do. So one of those needs that back white layer, and the back white layer is the 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So I have all those mats kind of just put aside, and I'm going to keep working with my scraps. I'm trying to decide here if I want this card to be a horizontal pattern or if I want it to be a vertical pattern. But I decide on a horizontal card because I think I like how that looks better with the rainbow paper here. And the rainbow paper I'm just cutting down to be 4 inches in height, and then I had that little strip of brown, and I do have some space in between that I'm going to have left over, so I decided to pull this rose gold foil paper from my stash. It's actually what I used to make my other 2 albums, and I used that to, you know, accentuate some things, and if I needed some other pieces, I used some of the rose gold. So I'm sticking down my rainbow paper here on the right hand side with my ATG tape. Then I'm going to stick down the brown patterned paper, and then we are going to cut down my rose gold foil paper, and I think we cut it down to 3/8 of an inch, so a little bit less than 1/2 an inch, and that's what seemed to work perfectly after I measured it. But before I do that, I am trying to think like if maybe I want this beautiful ribbon. So I had this green ribbon in my stash, and I do end up putting this on the card because I think I like how it looked. So I decided I'm going to do the rose gold foil and I'm going to do the ribbon. So like I said, I cut that down to 3/8 of an inch by 4 inches tall, and that fits perfectly there. And then I can attach my emerald green kind of ribbon color as well. So I'm gluing that down because it's kind of hard to get ATG tape on little bits of paper. So I'm just using my wet Barely Art glue. And in case you guys want some Barely Art glue as well, I will have that link down below with a 10% off coupon code on where you could purchase it. So definitely check that out. It is definitely comparable to art glitter glue, but I think it's a little bit cheaper, and I just like it better. So that's what I use. So I put some double-sided tape on the back of my card so that I could put my ribbon on my card and kind of fold over the edges so that they stay put. and I don't have to kind of cut the edges and then, you know, make them look a little frayed. So I decided I'm just going to fold it over onto the double-sided tape that I put onto the back. I am going to put some hot glue under that ribbon a little bit later on after I heat up my hot glue gun, and just so that stays put on the front, because right now it will move around a little bit if you like touch it and move it, but it's nothing too crazy, but I would want it to be stuck down a little bit more. So I'm just burnishing everything, making sure that stays put, and then I'm trying to figure out how to use this yellow striped paper. So I cut off the extra. I'm going to cut out this green background. It's like a tealish, minty green kind of background. So I'm going to cut that out for the yellow pattern paper. I really don't know what kind of color this is called. Seafoam? I don't know. But you get the idea. It's a little bit, no, that's the same color actually. Later on you guys will see I'm going to use the darker one as well. So I was like, you know what, I could use this Our Baby thingy from the front cover and cut it out and use it as a sentiment, and I was like, no, I am not fussy cutting that. You guys know I hate fussy cutting so much, so I was like, no, we're not doing it. But once I did this yellowed paper, I cut them down a little bit more, and then I cut down a little bit more of that seafoam kind of green color. I want to use the bear with this, but as I'm looking at this, I'm like, you know what? This might look really cute on another card. So I'm trying to figure out how to make it work at first, and I pick out all of my sentiments, and I pick out all my stickers, and then I'm just like, I really don't like this yellow on this card, and I keep trying to make it work, but I don't like it. So you guys will see that I'm going to end up moving all of that onto like a new card base. I'm going to stick that down though, and I was like, you know what, if I use it, I use it. If I don't, I don't, because this is just scraps that I'm trying to work with, and whatever I don't use, I'm just going to throw out, because it's very limited, very minimal scraps that I'll end up with for the pattern paper. And that sun paper that you guys see on the top there, oh my gosh, that is my least favorite paper from this entire collection, and I do not want to use it. So I pull out another card mat, and I'm like, okay, I have these two other large scraps. I can make something with this and that yellow striped paper that I wanted to use, that I had already matted onto like that seafoam kind of color. So I was like, okay, well, this pattern paper is a little too short, so I do need an outside like white layer border to go with my pattern paper and everything. So I cut out just some white solid cardstock. It's a 65-pound weight cardstock, and I'm gonna mat that onto, I don't know which one I'm deciding on. I think I decided on the green. Yellow? No, I decided on the yellow. I can't even remember myself what kind of cards I made. So I decided on that yellow, and all of the pattern papers are going to be matted onto the green, which is why I think I decided on the yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and mat all of those onto the green. I'm not cutting the height. I'm going to leave them the same, and there's going to be some of that white border, but that height is the same as that other pattern paper, as I just measured with the plaid paper. So it's the same height, so I don't have to cut either of them down. They are perfect. Now what I should have done is figured out if I needed to cut down any of the width, which I should have done, and you guys will see I am going to cut down a little bit later on, and I'm going to be separating my papers from the ATG tape. But that's something you could definitely do ahead of time to measure. I just did not. I don't know why, but I didn't. So I had to struggle with taking it off the ATG tape, because here I am going to realize that, oh, there's no white border showing, and I want to cut some off. So I could have cut even more off, because I would have liked a border on the outside edges and the middle, but with the amount that I end up cutting off, it's only enough for a white border on the center. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna go with it. Now cutting those little pieces wasn't working out well for me. I did have to go in with my scissors after, but here we go. I have my two kind of pieces that are going to go in the center, and then my yellow thing, and then I was like, oh, I really want to use this polka dot paper, so I'm going to mat him onto some yellow cardstock, and I really just like the addition of that as well. And I apologize, guys, for my voice, because I am still sick over here, so I hope you guys could still understand what I'm saying with my nasally voice here. But I attached that onto the yellow. I cut that out, and because I was trying to cut off a teeny piece. It didn't like that, so I had to go in with my scissors and trim that off. But what I'm deciding on this card is I really like that polka dot piece, so I'm going to add in some brads. Before I do that, I'm like, oh, I really like the sticker here, and I like the sentiment, so we're going to go with that. But I'm going to attach, well, I'm going to glue everything down first, I guess. So I'm going to use, I don't know why I used my Barely Art glue. That would have been a good piece to use my ATG tape, but I do go back to my ATG tape on the next piece that I am sticking down. I like to use the Barely Art glue on cards for the really small pieces, but for the larger pieces, I really like to use ATG tape for cards specifically. I don't know why, it's just kind of how I like to do it, but so I attach all of those pieces that are matted onto like that seafoam color. You can see the background pieces, the plaid paper and that like leafy paper are on like a darker seafoam color, which kind of matches the color in the polka dot paper. So I'm gluing everything down, and then I am adding 2 layers of like additional patterned paper to the sides of this little strip here that I'm working with, because those pieces are gonna hang off on the edge, and I want them to be the same height as like that yellow paper. So you don't want them to be kind of like, you know, look like a little wave. You want it all to be flat on your card. So I pulled out some brads. These are star glitter brads from my stash, and I don't know where I got these from, but I'm going to try to find a link and link it down below if I could find it. I will try really hard. And I'm using this pokey tool to poke some holes into my card, but I have to go through all of those layers of card. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers that I am poking through of cardstock, guys. That's how many layers are there so far, especially with those 2 layers underneath that strip. So anyway, I poked the holes and I put the brads through, and then I was going to attach that elephant sticker, and I was like, wait, no, I want to attach the elephant sticker on some foam dimension. So first I decided now I'm going to just put this down onto my black card mat. So I put some double-sided tape on the back of those brads because I don't want them poking holes in my card. I just always put down the double-sided tape on the back of those. I don't know if it helps, but I always do that. So there we go. I stick it down onto my card mat, and then I'm going to come in with some foam tape and stick that down onto my elephant sticker, just to add some dimension on this card. And I really like how this one turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. And you guys will see what I make on the other card, because we totally abandoned the other card because then this one came to mind, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this one now instead. This one was just kind of flowing, whereas the other one was a little bit more challenging. And that just happens sometimes. So I stick this elephant sticker down with the foam dimension, and then I'm going to take my sentiment sticker that says Our Little Miracle, and I'm going to put that onto the darker seafoam green and cut them out with a little bit of a border. And then I am going to add in 2 layers of cardstock to the left-hand side of that little sticker, so I can go ahead and stick them down. So I'm using that sun paper that I really don't like, that we're not going to finish up using in this video. It is just going to end up being trash because I really just don't like that paper. I don't know. I mean, suns are nice and all, but like, I don't know. I don't like that paper. So I stick down the Our Little Miracle, and then I pull out these jemmies from my stash. I actually use the same jemmies for the other 2 albums I created with this collection, and I really like how these jemmies in particular look with this collection, so I thought I would use them on this card as well. So I attached 2 jemmies so far, and then I'm just going to attach another 2. However, I'm not going to have any small ones for the next card, so we're going to have to work with some of the bigger ones instead. So I just attached those here, and we are kind of done with this card. We are going to work on the inside, but a little bit later on. I want to get the other front card done. So switching back to the other card that I started working with, and I'm trying to figure out what other pattern paper layers I can add and work with. So I end up choosing this plaid paper, and I stick him down onto the seafoam green. I cut him down on the yellow side, because you guys can see it's like different colors on this plaid paper, and I cut him down on the yellow side because I wanted some of that green to tie in the green from the green ribbon. So I'm like, okay, maybe I want this like this, maybe I want to use this striped, not striped, the polka dot paper as well, which I end up not using, but I'm trying to figure it out. And I was like, no, I really don't like it. So I'm going to go in, I mean, I stick him down, but I was like, I really don't like it. And I especially don't like it on a different colored background now after I tried it on the brown. I thought the brown would tie in some of the brown from the pattern paper, but once I did that, I was like, no, I don't like it. I don't like the two different background colors. So I'm going to go back to my scraps and try to figure out what other scrap I could use. And I was like, okay, well, how about we use the same brown that I did use before on the card, and mat him onto the same seafoam green. So that way we still use some of that brown paper that I wanted to use to tie in some of the brown that I already have on the card, but then also not have it matted onto brown cardstock that way. So I cut him down the same size to be as the plaid paper, and I got the brown, and I'm just kind of layering him on this card, trying to figure it out with that bear sticker that we chose before. And this time we're going to choose a different sticker sentiment, and it's going to say my little guy. So this is kind of the layout that I decided I'm going to go with. So I put the my little guy sticker onto like a darker seafoam green color. I'm going to cut him out, and then I'm going to stick those two pieces together just a little bit on one side, because we are going to have to add in some additional dimension to the top and left-hand side, where you guys could see they kind of meet, but they need an additional layer. So I thought, okay, we're going to use that other pattern paper that I had already stuck down onto the brown cardstock, and I'm not going to use, so we are going to use it here because it's already 2 layers. So I'm just repurposing some of those scrappies onto the back of my card. I'm going to go ahead and stick this down, and I wanted to stick it down so that you could still see the full-size rainbows on the left-hand side. And then I am adding some foam dimension to that little bear sticker. So I'm just cutting out my foam, making sure it fits onto that sticker. I don't want any overhang, so I'm cutting it up before I kind of add it on. I'm going to go ahead and peel all those foamies, like the foamy layers off, and then I'm going to add some hot glue and stick that down onto my card mat, my card base. Then I'm going to stick down the my little guy, but I need 2 additional layers on the backhand side of that, on the left. So I'm adding 2 little layers, and then I'm going to stick him down onto my card mat as well. And then finally, to finish off this card, we are going to add in some of those jemmies. I mean, first I'm trying to see if I could use any other stickers, and I do add this little arrow sticker, and I go back in to add some of the hot glue under the ribbon, like I said I was going to do. And now we're going to add some of those jemmies. So I just add in a couple on the top and then a couple on the right hand side, you guys are going to see. And when I do it like this, I like to go opposite directions. So the ones I did on the top are kind of like going down, and the ones I'm doing on the right hand side are kind of like going up in a way. So I always like to do them a little opposite like that. So that completes my second card, and I barely have any scraps left to work with. So we are now going to work on the inside of the card. So I do have those card mats already cut out, one of those that needs the white layer, and I decided to put that on the card with the elephant sticker, since that already has like a white background layer on the front of the card. So I thought it kind of just works with this one. Only to realize that I'm still going to need a white layer on the other card, which you guys are going to see in a second. But I go ahead and stick down this card mat, and then I'm trying to, before I go ahead and embellish it, I add my handmade logo sticker on the back, because I can't stamp it on there. Normally I stamp onto my white card bases directly, but this one I can't stamp because it's a black card base and black ink, so I just glued it down. I added this little rainbow sticker onto the bottom of this card mat. Where I added it is actually like a little cut from when I had cut the paper with some scissors or my paper trimmer, whatever. It kind of cut into the paper a little bit. So I covered that up with the rainbow sticker, and then I chose another sentiment sticker from the sticker book, and this one just says a gift from above. So on the front it said our little miracle, and then on the inside it says a gift from above, and you still have plenty of all the other space to write your own personal message and gift it to somebody. So the second card, I'm also adding my handmade logo sticker on the back, and then I'm trying to see what scraps I have left to make another card mat for the inside. Now this one's going to be a little bit different, because The largest piece I have measures 3.5 inches tall, and everything else I was making this 4 inches tall, or like 4 1/8 depending on which layer I'm doing, but this one is only 3.5. So I do my white card mat because we're going to need to have a white border, so I cut him down to 4 inches by 5 1/4, a little bit shorter than I normally would have done, because there's going to be a big gap between the white and this pattern paper, as you guys could see. But I needed to make it work, so we are working with it. So I go ahead and stick that down onto the inside, and it still looks fine. It kind of looks like a nice little frame. It looks fine. It doesn't look bad at all. And then I'm just going to attach some stickers onto the inside. So I attach another bear because there's a bear on the outside, and then I go with that little heart as well. So that completes my 2 cards that I made using up my scraps. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Let me know which one of these is your favorite and if you would actually gift this to anybody. Here are the scraps that I have left, and it's mostly that sandpaper that I really don't like. And then the solids I will hold on to because I could always cut out some flowers with those and just have those available in my stash for whenever I need them. But the pattern paper I am now done with. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to check out the longer process of the video, I have that link down below. And thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!